Good evening and welcome to another episode of House Live. Fashionably late 4 minutes. Who's counting? This is number 6. Tonight we have one brewery with 3 brands. We've got a Third Circle, Stone Barrel, and Third Barrel. I got it right, didn't I?
Yeah.
We've got Kevin McKinney coming up later on to tell us everything about the brewery. We've got some great beers coming up, and we've got some fantastic guests. Sean, do you want to tell the lads what's coming up later on?
Yeah, well done for getting those 3 names right. I could have sworn that you were going to stumble on one of those. We're going to start off with India Inked, which is the black lager. So we're going to prove that once you go black, you do actually go back. Coming up next will be Like a Boss, which just a really cool theme song. And that's going to be a double dry hopped IPA. And then to round off, probably the one I'm looking forward to the most is the When Life Gives You Hops. So it's going to be a nice double IPA to round the evening off. Looking forward to getting into it with Kevin and finding out all about the history of, these 3 brands, which were 2 breweries, which became a third one. I think, Dave, you called it the Holy Trinity. Looking forward to hearing from that.
To be fair, I mean, you've been trumping on this one. Like, since we started, we trashed out different breweries there. Who would we look at? And obviously the big names come up, like your Whiplash, your White Hag, your Kinnegar, and who else? We've had Rascals, we've had White Street, who are we missing there? Who else have we had recently?
Kinnegar,
yeah, we
Rascals,
Kinnegar. And of course, with Whiplash and White Hag coming up pretty soon in the next couple of episodes. But you are, and we'll tell Kevin this, you can take the credit. You were the one chomping on the bit to get Third Circle, Stone Barrel, and Third Barrel on. And I was like, really? So, Kevin can thank you for that. And I spoke with Kev, and I said, Kev, it wasn't one that came off my lips, but equally, I wanted to kind of think outside of the box. Yeah, it wasn't one that came to my mind, but equally, yes, they're producing some fantastic stuff. And it is nice to kind of think a little bit outside of your comfort zone and outside of your beer zone. And I put my hand up and I say, they haven't been on my radar, but everything I've had, because obviously you have to drink some of the beers to do a bit of research before the show. Everything I've had in the last couple of weeks has been top notch. I've had their painted black black IPA, awesome stuff. I love a black IPA. What else I had? Was it Shout double IPA? Is that Shout double IPA or something?
Yeah, that was a double IPA. Yeah.
I'm on this. Says on me.
Says on me, and that just sounds kinky. I mean, says on me. I mean, that just I love little pun names.
We're only in 3 minutes, and you're getting dirty already.
But actually, one of their beers last year, I think, that really caught my eye was Shut Up Juice, and I just loved the name. It was just like Shut Up Juice. Like, give me that beer, allow me to watch a game of rugby, and I'm going to be happy. Speaking of which, hopefully.
Who we got coming up later on in the show? Do you want to mention? We have a couple of alternations to the lineup.
Oh yeah. So unfortunately, Anton has been he pulled a hamstring or an elbow injury, so we've had to substitute him in with Lena. So we've got definitely a much better looking person on the show, and at the end we are gonna be having Connell and Mo back on with the music. We've had a problem with Andy. He'll be coming up in a later show. So Dave.
We got Tony Quinn in the hot
seat. Oh, and Tony Quinn. Who can forget our plumber, handyman? He can do everything. He gets into tight spaces.
Tony of all trades.
Tony. So I was just going to bring that up. With the Champions Cup was really exciting last week. The only thing that was pretty disappointing was the Racing and Bordeaux game, where it was almost like no team wanted to win. It was kind of diabolical. But Bordeaux went through, and La Rochelle qualified. So, and the only Leinster...
They're still a monster. They're still a monster element. We're going to be shouting for Raj.
Well, that's it. I think Ronan is going to be wanting to get one over on Leinster without a doubt.
All the Munster fans are going to be shouting for La Rochelle suddenly.
Yeah, I am.
What cup are you drinking out of tonight? Are you drinking from the can because you're not going to win any cup this year, being a Liverpool fan?
Oh, burn. Well, I mean, you guys are in that B League competition,
Well, do you know
that
what?
champion, the Europa League or whatever.
One B cup is better than no cup.
You know what?
We'll let you drink your beer tonight and
But
swallow your pride.
on that, actually, the Europa League is actually shaping up to be another All England final. I mean, you've got Man United and Arsenal on either side of the draw, and it looks. I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't get past Roma and Valencia. Both teams aren't really, as strong as what they have been in the past. So that would be I think the second time in 3 seasons. That would be an All England Europa League final. Arsenal, Chelsea, a couple back.
United going back to Rome, playing Roma, 2 ex-United players, Smalling and Mkhitaryan. So that'll be interesting.
And you look at Jesse Lingard; he's doing really well with West Ham. Apparently, he's on the lips of everybody now, and he couldn't even get into the Man United team. So
they'll bring him back, but he won't get a game. Anyway, let's bring Kev on, I guess. We'll bring Kev on, I guess. He's waiting in the wings. We always start, I think, but you know what? When we retire from the House Flies Live, we'll just call it sports something live. I don't know. We'll come up with a name, Sports Couch Live or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's bring Kev on. And we had a tech check with Kev during the week on, was it Tuesday night, and he's good crack. For a lad that I met for the first time, I was like, yeah, we'll have good crack at him. There'll be no awkward silences, Anyway, Kevin McKinney, welcome to House Flies
Gentlemen,
Live.
I'm not great crack at all. I'm actually quite boring, All
right, good luck, so good luck. Seriously, man. Thanks for taking the we'll say the hot stool on the House Flies Live, taking on the Cork lads.
Hot stool does not sit well. Do you think about it?
Nobody likes
a hot stool. No thanks. No worries. Thanks for having me on. I'm always game for talking beer shite, and at least I'm not doing it to my wife, because normally on a Friday evening I'll be sitting at home, going, oh, taste this, darling, taste this, and I'm told to pretty much fuck off. So at least I can talk to like-minded beer people. Now we can talk some beer shit for an hour or so.
You're like myself. You're like myself. You've got a couple of young kids running around the place as well.
If you didn't have the headphones on, you'd hear them right now. They are destroying the place.
Sean is the man in the middle with no kids. He only has to manage his missus. So you're like myself. That the little spare room stroke office door is shut closed, and
it is.
And it's like daddy's in his beer shed. It's beer cave, It's great.
And the beauty of this, it kind of overlaps bedtime, and it's meant to be my night to put the kids to bed. So I'm actually getting away with it tonight. It's glorious. So thanks very much. I would have came on regardless, just to get away from the bedtime.
I mean, you're kind of working at the moment. I mean, that's the thing. You're actually working.
That was my argument.
Yeah. Wait till we come up with an argument there in a couple of weeks' time that we have to do one. We have to do an episode from the. Oh, I won't tell you about that one. Yeah, I'll tell you about that one later, Kev. We're gonna have to do an episode from the bar because their broadband's suddenly gonna fall. We won't have any broadband at home. So
sorry, darling. I'm going to have to go to Cork on the piss because it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is.
We'll probably do a 15. We're open 15 years in August, so we might, if we're still doing these, well, we might do a 15-year episode from the bar. I don't know.
Excellent. That'd be a good crack.
Yeah. So anyway, Kev, you are.
Should we get into a beer?
We will get the beer open, I suppose. Anyway, we're going to talk Ink Black Lager, which Kev has drank half of already. Well done. I have it open as well. I have it open as well. Jesus, Kev, this is a stunning beer.
Yeah, it's
chocolatey, kind of little hints of coffee, like roasting. Beautiful.
Yeah, like we've been looking at beers, and we've released a lot of the traditionally the hazy beers and whatever, kind of the only things that bloody sell at the minute, double dry hop, this and that. And we wanted to go away and look at the kind of more traditional styles, a lot of lagers, brown ales, red ales, all that kind of stuff that kind of have seemed to be lost now, So we're sitting down doing our plans up for the few months. I'm like, we need to do a black lager. There's not enough black lagers, so we done it, and we're pretty happy about it. It does what it does. It's refreshing like a lager, but it still has that complexity that a dark beer gives you. Little notes of coffee and chocolate, but like still absolutely slammable. So, we're pretty happy with it. There's only about 20 cases left in the brewery, and I think we've drank probably about 3 or 4 cases each as well. Like, no word of a lie. So like that's it's always a good endorsement when you're pounding your own beers.
Good stuff.
Is there coffee in it, or is
No,
it?
no. That is the only thing. There's only 2 malts in that. Well, 3 malts. There is Irish lager malt from MCI around the corner from you guys, from Malt and Company of Ireland. There's Carafa with dehusked Carafa, so it's a nice smooth. You get those little subtle notes, but it doesn't give you any bitterness. And it's a kind of dark malt and a touch of Milano, Belgian Milano, just to give it that little bit. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, straight up. No point messing with a classic.
You know what? If it's
that'd be a fantastic one for a blind tasting. I think a lot of lads would just go, "I'm drinking a brown ale," or a porter.
I know it's amazing the difference, especially when you do a lager like this. When you can, it smells a lot more heavy than it actually is. Yeah, it smells porty, but then when you drink it, it's clean and smooth and crisp and easy drinking. Hence, nearly empty glass.
But it's something about New Zealand hops as well that I personally love, and I don't know what it is. There was a beer the other night that I didn't even look at what it was. I just poured it, and I could immediately I looked it down, and it was a Motueka hop, and I was like, oh wow,
I love Motueka,
yeah. And there was another one I was raving about a few weeks back, and it was Ruaka, and I was just it's, I don't know. There's something about the Southern Hemisphere hops that really just seem to be my preference.
And they taste different than I suppose, like it's everybody's using American hops, and everybody has been using American hops since the kind of big hop revolution kind of came around, 15 years ago with Sierra Nevada, and then been kind of pumped into overdrive over the last 10 years. But there's only so many hops you can use, and like it's the same as like beers are becoming the Snow Patrol of beers now, where it's just the same 3 hops used, and like the Snow Patrol use the same 3 chords in every song. Some brewers use the same 3 hops and just differently, Whereas the New Zealand thing and the Southern Hemisphere thing, Australian hops, New Zealand hops, some South African hops. There's hops coming from all over the world now, which are bringing a kind of another layer of complexity to your beer. And like we've loved New Zealand hops. The problem is you can't get them as readily. We can forward contract hops, like we can get 250 kilos of Citra and 500 kilos of Amarillo, but to try and get the good quality New Zealand hops is quite hard. So when you do get them, you want to use them properly.
So what you're saying is there's no point in sticking them into a core range because it would just wreck your head, because they're grand for specials, but core range, like you'll be substituting, and your core range beers wouldn't be consistent, because you'd be going, I don't have it this week, I don't have it this month, but I might have it next month, and
But I mean, that's probably a good question to jump into this, Dave. I mean, you want to lead the way in this conversation about the 3 different, brands. Yeah. But from my understanding, this is now your core range, Third Circle. Is that correct, or was that wrong?
No, it's completely wrong. I don't even know where you got that information from. You obviously done no research whatsoever.
I'm
done.
Kev, this is a recurring theme. He never does research. I mind kids all day. I mind the kids all day. Well, actually, the wife minds the kids all day. And I help out. And he does no research, and he rocks up here after doing a hard day's work. Yeah, sitting on his arse answering phone calls. So okay.
Tell us about the range.
The way I put this, all right, we describe Sean touching it, right. I try to get my head and wrap my head around Third Circle, Stone Barrel, Third Barrel, right?
And that's never get your head around it.
Okay.
And that's a big fucking head. I mean, that's a big head.
All right. I've got it twice in the last 10 minutes. Well, 3 times, because we didn't go live.
3 times, yeah.
All right. I'm going to describe it as the Holy Trinity. Holy Trinity from now on, all right? So you've got Third Circle, the Father. I'm going to mess this up. So you got God the Son, God the Father, God the Holy Spirit. So you got a Third Circle, the Father. You've got Stone Barrel, the Son, and you've got Third Barrel, the Holy Trinity. So that's the way I'm going to describe it from now on.
Jeez,
So remember,
it's gone very religious.
well,
That's
Gone
I'm
very
lost.
religious.
but you're
We're beer religion for intelligent atheists is what we are. Like that,
Oh
you know.
God, here we go. We're definitely going to hell if your words already there.
Well, if it existed, but no, it's true. Look, the three brands has confused everybody, but we see it as a kind of a plus point. If we like on you wouldn't believe how sick I am of explaining the three brands. Literally every phone call I ever had is explaining these three brands, but it gets people talking. And if people are talking, whether they're confused or whether they're unconfused or whether they're still talking, I'd rather be talked about by someone who's confused and not be talked about at all. So it gives us a little niche, I suppose. When you look at there's so many fantastic breweries in Ireland at the minute, and that's no word of a lie. There's so many world-beaten breweries here in Ireland. It's hard to differentiate. Be different from the others. So at least if we have a little tiny story behind us like this, and like the three brands, and it gives us a slight difference, but it's a bit of crack. It's a bit of crack. It also gives us the opportunity to release a ridiculous amount of new beers
Okay,
because
so
we've got
go
three
for it.
brands.
So go for it. Okay, you had what? You had Third Barrel, and sorry, you had Stone Barrel and Third Circle, or was it the other way around?
No,
Which was first?
so I set up Stone Barrel in 2013 with my buddy Niall, and we
Yeah.
were Gypsy Brewer.
Brewers.
Yeah,
Travelers. Yeah.
basically, yeah. We're nomads, and we are brewing around trouble 8 degrees, bit over in the UK, everywhere basically. Our buddy John set up Third Circle around the same time. He was doing the exact same thing. Cut long story short, neither of us had enough money to had the probably whatever 120, 130 grand we needed to set up our own brewery. But between us, we did. So we said, let's just join forces, create a new brewery. We'll call it imaginatively, call it Third Barrel, and that was it. And that was only ever meant to be the name of the actual brewery, the brew house. It was never meant to be a brand. It was always going to be separate. That we're going to brew Stone Barrel and Third Circle, and that's it. And we brewed a collaboration beer to mark the occasion. Called it was Third Barrel, and that sold out in like 10 days or something. And we're like, fucking hell, right, we'll brew another one then. And then that sold out, and I went, oh, fuck's sake, we'll brew another one then. And now we're up to whatever 60 beers later, and we're still here. So that's just it happened organically. It wasn't anything planned. Well, actually, nothing in our brewery's planned. So like, it never would have been planned, and that's just the way it is. It's moved on, and now we're into 2021, and we've three brands, and we released a stupid amount of beers. Happy days.
Yep, no complaints there.
Yeah,
we did have a question here from like Views and Brews, apologizing for being a nerd, but just
nerd.
How much? There we go, and I think that is Brendan, right, David?
Yeah, it's Brendan.
Yeah. So he just wants to know how much carafa as a percentage.
On this beer, I think it was about 6 or 7%. It was only to get the color and a little bit of aroma. We didn't want to put enough into it so it became like a tin stout or a tin porter. We still wanted to keep the lagerness, but we wanted to get a dark color. So I think it was about 7%, and that was about it.
Okay, great. Yeah. He's also just saying he has. Yeah, I think the reason I said about I thought it was Third Circle was the core range, just because you see Third Circle in the smaller cans and at like a slightly cheaper price point. Not that your price point is expensive, because I mean even your Third Barrel and Stone Barrel beers are really affordable. I mean,
yeah, well, like I was only having this conversation today in the brewery with who was it? With Declan Nixon from Otterbank in Yellow Valley. We were brewing a beer from today, and we were talking about the Omni Polo beers that were like 18, 19 euro a can, and we were laughing away and saying, "What the fuck's the point?" Like,
how can you do it?
Man, I'd buy 2 bottles of wine with that, and to be honest, 2 good bottles of wine that'll do you 2 nights, rather than 1 can of beer, which will do you 45 minutes, and then you spend the rest of the night being disappointed. But we were saying, like, the way we do our separate our brands out is that the third circle is always the value driven brand. We are pushing in for that 4 for 10 market, and that's gone now, but it's still within that. The Stone Barrel is the kind of the mid range brand, and then the third barrel is the high end brand. But we never want to push a beer out that's ridiculously priced. Beer is a decent thing. It's not a commodity, you know. No one buys and sells beers like that. It should be a case of you should be able to afford any beer, and anything that you can't afford isn't really beer. You know, it's bullshit, to be honest.
I mean, that omnipolar stuff, I think I saw 3 of those cans you were talking about, something mud cake. There was like 3 different versions of it. Passion fruit mud cake, something mud cake. But at 15 euros a can, like it literally would be you almost wouldn't enjoy us at that price. Besides the fact that if you bought those 3 cans, you could feed yourself for a freaking week. I mean, it's not right.
But the thing is that people still buy it. So maybe I'm missing the trick. Maybe I should be charging €15 a can.
Please don't. Please don't.
Every beer is going to be €15 a can. You know, we only need to sell a third of it to make the same amount of money as we're making now on a $5 a can anyway. So, and then we can drink the rest ourselves and still make the same amount of money.
Man.
I think you can pull. We mentioned it in the tech check the other night. You know, there's very few breweries that can pull it off it's not even in Ireland, but in the world. But they can probably pull it off once or twice in a year. You know, like because if you've got a following, and you've got a name, you know, lads will just kind of go. A brewery's releasing a beer and it's barrel aged. It's got X amount of hops, and you know, it's got X amount. It's double dry hopped. It's 15% or whatever. You know. It's got the X factor, and it's got a price tag of 15 euros. This stuff must be the bomb. So they're gonna, like the beer nerds, they're gonna buy it. You know, they're gonna go for it. But
Brendan, would you buy it?
What I find is, if you do it every week, if you're pulling out a €15 beer every week, they ain't gonna buy it. But if you pull one out once or twice a year, I tell you, you could probably get away with it.
Like, if I brought out a €15 beer every week, I'd only need to sell 800 cans of it, and that's it every week. Job done across the whole of Europe. 800 cans, and then sitting pretty. And I can get a contract brewed. Even I can pay Whiplash. I get a contract brewed in Whiplash. I could even afford to do that and still make money on it.
700, because you already told us you drank about 3 or 4 cases of your own black lager. So
I
700.
I'd brew bigger. And make sure.
Yeah.
I'm just about to do the same. I'm just about to do the same myself.
Come on, let's. Jesus, lads, you're flaking through. But that was a small can, I suppose.
That was a small can, baby can, and we just finished work.
While we're talking, I mean, let's get the COVID crap out of the way. We don't want to dwell on it too much, you know. We're all here to have the
COVID.
Yeah. Shitfest, as I call it. Derek and Masson called it that. I just thought, amazing. Shitfest. How did that affect the brewery overnight for yourselves? And how did you have to adapt, or were you well set up for it, or what I'm trying to get at is like, did you suddenly kind of go, right, we are X amount of our beer goes, we had beer earmarked for kegs, or we had to, or were you okay because a lot of your stuff goes into package, and you know, obviously you lost your export overnight, did you?
Yeah, it was a weird one. We were looking at it last March when everything closed down, and we were in a lucky position that our landlord, the first thing happened, our landlord came into us and said, lads, don't worry about the rent for a few months. We'll see this through. So we were saying, what do we do? And we're saying, like, theoretically, we could close the brewery for 3 months, because no one knew it was going to go on this long. You know, like, we close the brewery for 3 months, keep the head down, come back and just start up as normal and just go back again at it. But we had beer in tank, and we owed people money. Like, we owed, say, people for malts, people for hops, people for our key kegs that we had sitting there. So we said, no, fuck it. What we'll do is we'll stay open, and we'll release the beer that we have in tank. We'll get it all packaged, we'll get it up, and we'll get it out. And then we'll use that money just to pay back everybody we owe. So that way, when we get to the end of this, then we won't owe anybody any money. Everybody's going to be settled up, because we're all SMEs, you know, at the end of the day. Yeah. So every euro counts. So we did that, and it turned out there wasn't many people actually releasing specials through the start of the pandemic. So we were one of only one or two breweries with our distributor that were releasing specials. So it ended up being pretty busy. Obviously, no kegs, but pretty busy on the kegs on the can side of things. So that kind of kept the doors open and kept us working, and we've just been plowing at it for the last year. All our export markets have opened back up now again this year. So that's a much bigger help now. We're sending a lot of beer off to Europe. So yeah, no, it's going to be a strong year. But we came into 2020 thinking that we were going to have growth of about 40%. And it turned out we had a decline of about 35%. So it was a big swing from what
Oh
we thought.
shit.
But the doors are still open. We're still employed. The brewery's still making beer. So there's people in much worse situations than we are. So we can only be
That
grateful that we're still here and still doing what we want to do.
But tell us, I suppose,
that
on
c-
the bigger picture. I mean, with everyone sitting at home and everybody, I suppose, being me included, are kind of like they're thinking it like you're heading to an off license versus a bar at the moment to pick up your brews. And I think the craft beer drinker is probably exploring beers that he never explored before. Have you seen off license sales obviously rise and like people, I mean, the demand and different off licenses for your beer, or has that changed? Or
Yeah, like the demand for cans has gone through the roof. For some beers we might have been selling locally, we might have been selling 40, 50 cases a month of
yeah,
like say a third circle special. We might send 40 cases a month to Four Corners. That's now up around 70, 80 cases a month. So it's exploded. But that's again, you're offsetting that against people like yourself who would have stocked kegs, who you
mm,
can't. So it swings around about. You know what I mean? But look, as I said, we're just happy to have the doors open and still be producing beer because
I
exactly.
think
I
that,
mean,
there's a
and
lot of
from
breweries that won't come out of this in the same way, and like a lot of breweries who would have been keg heavy on their sales, um, are going to be hit hard. And that's a shame because if you fuck up your own company, you fuck up your own company. You have yourself to blame. But when it's something like a poxy global pandemic and that's
yeah.
fucked you up, well then there's nothing you can do about it. So it's a sad day for people like that. Like,
I think that kind of jumped in, like, because I was reading a couple of weeks back, and I think the overall alcohol percentage actually went up during lockdown. It wasn't necessarily the overall alcohol consumption in Ireland went up, and you had all the like alcohol awareness, alcohol advocacy, or something going against it, and they're the ones that want to put in like a price per unit. But I mean, yeah, I mean, what? Obviously, it's a delicate subject around a few people, but I mean, it didn't surprise me that alcohol sales went up. And surely that would hopefully have a positive impact on the craft brewery because all of a sudden you are going to an off license and hopefully seeing something different rather than walking into the pub and seeing, those big house lagers. And I mean, yeah, so at least it's good to see that at least your sales have gone up in that way. And hopefully you can still maintain that, market share when you go back.
yeah, like it's we're not. Although we're a business, we're not business people. We don't look at it and sit down and look at percentage points of growth and this and that. But we have an idea where we need to go, and obviously we've been hindered by COVID. But as I said, look, if we come out when COVID goes and we're still making beer, well then we're one of the lucky ones. So that's the way we look at it. And if we keep on growing after that, happy days. But it's thankfully our doors are still open and we're still able to make beer. We're still able to come on to things like this and talk beer shit. Like I could be sitting
yeah,
wallowing in self pity because my brewery is closed, but I'm
let
here. I am Friday night showing off my new haircut that I've done myself. So happy
you're
days.
Stephen Clincher.
No, I'm not a Stephen Clinch. I'm way, way, way more miserable than Stephen Clinch is. I'm putting on my
Happy face.
happy face. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You
As
got
soon
you
as the
got the
camera goes off, now.
You got the Stephen Clinch quip though, I must say. Yeah.
It's not a quiff. That's the call of receding hairline, and I'll tell Stephen you're saying that.
Do you know? Do you know?
David,
Do you know? Do you know who I think Stephen Clinch is a fucking image of? And every time I watch a Leinster game, is Jack Conan. I actually get look at him.
Really?
I just go Jack Conan, Stephen Clinch. I don't know. It's just a quiffy haircutty thing.
Or the bulk, the bulk.
Yeah, it's probably Clinchy's bulk is in a different area than Conan's now, to be honest. although he's trimmed down recently again. Let's be honest.
He has.
I mean,
he had a blunder.
Let's get out of the COVID talk anyway.
Fuck COVID.
Outside of like obviously business point of view, what do you miss? I mean, because we're in this, like, do you miss going to the going to the pub, or going for a meal with your missus, or what do you miss personally?
Yeah, all of the things, all of the above.
The simple things.
What I really miss is just being able to do shit.
Yeah.
Not having to plan.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, since the last week now, I'm actually going to meet a buddy of mine tomorrow with our kids in a playground. I know, mad times. But first time I've seen them in a year with little things. But no, what I miss is the days when we're about 15 minutes outside Dublin city centre on the tram, and it's the days when it's about 4:00. Everything, all the brewing's finished, the canning's finished. You're like, fuck it, lads. We go in for a pint? The kind of, not the big planned nights out like people's birthdays, because they're always disappointed anyway. Is the random Wednesday night, let's go for a scoop. And go out, and like some nights you go out for 3 pints and you go home. Some nights it's 4:30 in the morning before you fall in the door. But, it's those little nights that I miss. And
I need a job.
Yeah. So it's that kind of shit. And like with COVID, like with the restrictions the way they are, and everything has to be so regimented now. You can't just go You can't just go for your weekly food shop. Someone has to stay home and mind the kids, and someone else has to go out on their own. It's like,
us. I mean, okay, we can put it like, okay, Southern Hemisphere, like say, you're Australia, you're New Zealand. Obviously, you've had it very good. Us outside of Dublin have had it quite good. I mean, Dublin has had it pretty heavy going, like, for 12 months. We got open for this a while. Okay, let's get off the COVID shit. Anyway,
fuck COVID.
Yeah, fuck COVID.
Can you tell us about the beer? Like, for some
tell
people
us about Like a Boss.
I can't. I'm trying to remember what it is.
It's a beer. Do you want to? Do you have a pip as well, by any chance? No.
Sorry.
You don't have a pip, no?
What's a pip?
Killian from Larkins was on there 2 weeks ago, and when he didn't
I wouldn't listen to a word he says.
When he had a question, when you asked him something he didn't know about the beer, he was like, "On second, I just got to text my pip." So the running joke for the whole the whole episode is going to text his pimp.
Yeah, I just read the side of the can. So happy days. No, I forgot so that's it's a double dry hopped IPA with Strata, but I remembered we put another hop into it. We use Hull Melon, which is a German hop, gives lovely melony flavors in the hot side in the Whirlpool, and then we double dry hopped it with Strata. So, but we're actually triple dry hopped it. So we dry hopped it on day 1 of fermentation, to get that nice little base haze. You get a little thing called biotransformation when the hop oils mix with the proteins and stuff like that from fermentation, it gives you kind of a bit of a permanent haze. Then we dry hopped again with Strata on day 4 or 5, and then we dry hopped again on day 8, I think. So yeah, proper double dry hop beer. You're gonna get the mix of the Hull Melon and the Strata gives a lovely kind of fruit salad type situation to it, and it doesn't taste like 6%. It's kind of a bit of a slammer.
It's a sipper. It tastes like an easy sipper. I mean, Kev, that's probably where I'm going with the next question. I was kind of saying, like, I don't want to talk either way now. I don't want to kind of go either side of the fence here. I don't want to lick your ass because you're on, but equally I don't want to offend you because you are on. So
you can offend me a million times, and the other thing as well.
But, like, probably fault of mine. I know we bought your beers down the beer house plenty of times, be it on keg, and we bought your beers on keg, and we have poured your beer. But what I'm trying to get at, all right, is okay. You opened in 2013.
Is this a licking of the arse, or is this the it's the other one?
This is gently.
Caressing.
Easing myself in. This is caressing the question. All right.
God, here we go. Snowflakes are coming out.
I must admit. I mean, hand up, and I said it earlier.
No, he doesn't want the hand up, David.
Until recently,
No.
I always put my hand up. Which hand? This one. Until recently,
God.
I mean, you've been off my
It's going
radar.
down the
You've been off my
toilet.
radar. All right, when it comes to
Yeah.
the, I don't know, is it a mix of the confusion between the three brands, or is it that I just got in a muddle with the three of them?
I think you've just been like off the ball, really. To be
Yeah, I've been
honest,
off the ball.
because
I've
we
been
are
off the ball.
fantastic. No. To answer your question, that
No,
was
I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Let me
Oh
hear.
shit!
There's more to it. It's a double-barrel question.
Oh fucking hell!
It's the rest of
Double
it's nice. The
barrel,
rest of it's
our
nice.
hands
The
up.
rest of it's
Double
nice.
third barrel.
Yeah, but I've drank a lot of the beers recently, and I mean, I've been really, really impressed and happily surprised by the quality of the beer. All right, that's the licking part, all right?
Oh
And
yeah.
I mean, honestly, and this is not just because you're on, because you're decided to take on the boys in Cork. They rack up, not even nationally, but globally in my book, with any beers.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
But where I'm getting at, this is where the question is: at
Shut
what
up.
point? At what point did the quality kind of just? And what point did you ratchet it up to the? Or was it always there? You know, what point did you
No,
kind of, was
no.
there? At what point was there a twist in the brewery to
Yeah.
kind of go? Let's bring this to another level, or did that happen?
Yeah. Well, like, I suppose there's a couple of different answers to this, right? Oh, I'll
Right, it's
answer
a long question, so it can be a long answer.
Oh well, how long have we got? No, to answer your question about being off the radar, was semi-intentional.
Mhm.
Not the fact that we want to be on everybody's fucking radar, you know what I mean? But the fact that we have seen a lot of breweries who have got too big too quickly and ran out of money and nearly closed them. So we've been kind of managing our growth. The fact that we want to grow at a sustainable level that we can continue to afford to pound hops into beers. So that's probably why we're not as well known. It's like the fact that we haven't been making enough beer to be well known. We're kind of gradually bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up. So we know it's manageable. With regards to the quality, I suppose when we started brewing in 2013, we never knew how to fucking brew. We knew how to home brew, which is completely different. Like that's like, oh, I can make good pasta at home. You're not a chef. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Home brewing and brewing are completely different. So we've basically learned how to brew
You've been
since
learning
we
the fly,
released our,
basically, yeah.
exactly. We've learned how to brew since our first batch of beer, and we've been learning every batch. And I think as we've learned, as we've educated ourselves on how to brew, as we've been reading up on different techniques, we've kind of developed our own way of doing things. And I think that shows in the beer. The beers when we first released them were grand, grand. They're nothing special. And
Yeah.
in my opinion, over the last kind of, especially since we got our own brewery and we were able to implement some different ways of brewing rather than the traditional ways that some other breweries that we were brewing in do. Uh, the beers have just gone up in quality, up in like we do a lot of we do a lot of things in our brewery that other breweries wouldn't do. I won't divulge the information. It's a
Trade secrets.
family
What to
secret.
know?
But you know, not in a bad way. It'd just be very
Yeah.
untraditional, you know. As I said, like dry hopping in the tank during, like at the start of fermentation, before, like as we're pitching yeast, little different things like that. And that's all from us reading up on papers about biotransformation on yeast and hops and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, you're getting very scientific now. You're gonna lose us. I'm gonna fall
No,
asleep.
no, look, at the end of the day, I haven't brewed a beer in about a year, so I'm only talking from what the
What
other
you
two
see.
guys talk about. Exactly, I design all the
He's
cans
another
now. and do all
Rick.
the
He's
sales.
another Rick from kindergarten. He just oversees everything. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
well, I fucking wish. That would mean me in the office 9 to 5.
Okay.
I would
He's got
love
the-
that.
I know. I
No,
say, you know what?
I'm standing at the
sitting
canning
down.
machine.
You're sitting
Can
down.
you-
You're sitting down, but Rick has got the feet up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it doesn't take very long to get the feet up, though. There's
yeah.
not much of a
I don't
distance
know.
to travel there.
But no. I mean,
Um,
I hope. Look, let's wrap up on that question. I mean, I hope it like it was a long-winded kind of a question, but it was kind of at me that like what I wanted to say was like, yeah, you were off my radar, but like, yeah, definitely I noticed, and Jesus, to my surprise, I was like, well, not alone like with this, like, and I mean, you're on our webinar, very posh name, not a podcast, I've told, but Jesus, like these beers are world class. Not just good, man. These are very good. Like
Thank you very much.
I had a day before it came on.
It
And
wasn't that road soda one, was it? Because I had that the other night.
I had a
It's very,
4%er.
very watery, wasn't it?
Average, it was.
I had
Disappointing.
another, I had another big beer. I had another big beer from Gamma, I think, and your beers are like the two beers I've had are just. I know they're fresh. They're just out, but Jesus,
Yeah.
they're as good, if not better. And that's the ultimate compliment for me. Like,
Well, thanks very much. Well, that's the thing as well is that we're blessed in Ireland. We can get so much fresh beer from local breweries that are, they give you like our brewery is about 3/4 of a mile away from Whiplash, and I see that mongrel Alan about every fucking 2 days, right? And Alex. Either or.
Alan or Alex?
Head records.
Oh, is there two of them up there? Is there?
There's two of them. Alan's the mongrel and Alex is the other guy. And
careful now. Be nice.
We've got this recorded, so it's fantastic.
He's up in 2 weeks' time, so be nice about it. He mightn't turn up if we take him too much.
We loved him. I'd known him before Whiplash, but so to have that Whiplash, so we got Trouble about 8 miles up the N7. We got Rascals around the corner. Dot Brew, who's down the end.
I enjoyed Dot.
What? Oh, Dot Brew.
I enjoyed Dot. Yeah.
So we do a lot of we package a lot of his beers from, and like we're good mates with Shane. He's an absolute little alchemist. But just even from I was just saying, like from within a 10-mile radius of where I am, there's and Hope as well, and a lot of other. There's like 7 or 8 fantastic fucking breweries who are making savage beer where I can pick up cans like a day old. We're spoiled for choice in Ireland.
You're absolutely blessed.
I don't think a lot of people realise how fantastic the beer is, and I might go on about English or American beer or wherever, but like you don't have to look far to get a fantastic pint, hopefully soon, or a fantastic can of beer.
You touched on something there, like how fantastic the beer is. I mean, definitely European standards. I mean, I think Ireland is definitely leading the race. Obviously, the UK is very good. Some of the UK breweries are very good.
Yeah, you have a lot of like Cloudwater, Track, Pressure Drop, all Verdance. All these lads are unbelievable.
You take the UK out of the picture. I mean, where else in Europe are you looking at that's producing really? Okay, Denmark.
Yeah, but like
some parts of Scandinavia,
Norway.
For a country of 5 and a bit million people, to produce so many fantastic beer brands is ridiculous. But I'd say that though, for a nation of drinkers, us 5.5 million people, we had such shit taste of beer up till very recently.
Yeah, true.
Like we drank a lot, but we drank a lot of shit beer. And it's only in the last maybe, when did I started drinking craft beer? Maybe 12 or 13 years ago. So maybe it's only in the last maybe 13 years that it's slowly but surely. But the last 4 or 5 years, the quality of Irish beers, and you see that through export. You see how many Irish breweries are selling the beers abroad.
Yeah,
it shows that people are starting to appreciate Irish beers a lot more and recognise that they're really good.
Do you remember?
I think Killian was the same.
Craft beer?
What?
Going back 12, 13 years ago. Remember the first craft beer that you put in your mouth and went?
Probably Clotworthy Dublin.
Wow, yeah.
One of the Whitewater beers.
Yeah,
and Old Speckled Hen and Spitfire and Bishop's Finger and all them lads, Then you gradually move up into the fuller stuff, the hoppy English beers. And then I remember there was one night I was talking to, what was his name? It was Ken from the Porterhouse in Temple Bar. And he just got Odell's IPA in.
Oh, yeah.
This probably 9 years ago. He went, drink this, lads. And we drank it. And that was the first time I drank something with proper American hops into it. And that's it. Now I'm fucking throwing 20 grams a litre into every beer. It's a slippery slope.
Kevin, so I mean, it was interesting, like with you talking about how many breweries are within your, radius up in Dublin, because I think Wicklow, or where Killian is, they could also, they could also argue about being a bit of a brewing capital of Ireland. It's crazy to think of as well, because it's not really. I've never been there. I think I've driven through it, but I mean,
it's only about 10 miles outside of Dublin, really. So you could basically call it Dublin.
No, it's trying to claim everything.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, I mean that's interesting. I mean,
Part of the
and
pale,
you
probably,
know,
is it? Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
we'll take it.
Brendan, we'll put up a comment there now. But I mean, there's definitely like there's almost need to have like a brewery tour, like a little pub hop tour where, you know, Declan Buckley's has said, you know, we need more Irish tap rooms. But I mean, yeah, if we just have a little pub crawl, you know, where you get like a big double decker bus and we can hop on, almost like the White Hag train.
Oh yeah,
Lewis,
Um,
they
that,
extend the
that that
extend
could
the
be
Lewis,
good.
or like the
yeah.
Burgundy beer mile. Call it the
But you
Dublin
don't
The
want to
version
be
Lew,
of
you don't want
the
to be
Lewis
walking
Lash.
around.
the
You don't want
Lewis
to be
Lash.
walking around certain areas in Dublin, though. I mean, you might. I mean, it's. I mean, I'm African. I mean, and I'm scared up there. So, but anyway,
No, everything about Dublin is beautiful, apart from the red line, Lewis. That's rough.
and
That's rough.
Conor McGregor, he's
Yeah,
a
he's on the
buzz.
red line as well, you know. So it's no, but
Um,
there was people who were talking about doing brewery tours like that who wanted to bring us rascals, and a few other people like on a bus. But that was kind of end of 2019, and that's all been curtailed because of that
COVID.
shit show that is COVID. So maybe again it will. But like yeah, like Wicklow has some great breweries as well. You have Wicklow Brewery up in Red Cross, who are the lads there are absolute
They're
legends.
good.
Yeah.
I had a
Oh,
nice.
and the pub's beautiful as well that they
Yeah,
operate in. And
and
and the old
then
brother lads who are fucking absolute gents. Absolute gents.
I had their 12 the 12 20 20 of their. It was like a big double barrel
Oh yeah.
aged stout. So it was pretty good.
They're
But
lovely
look,
fellas.
Simon's been trying to get this question out for ages.
Go on.
How do you decide which beer goes under which brand? Because I mean, you guys are so mangled now. It's not really two separate breweries. You guys are pretty
No,
much,
no, it's one brewery now with three brands.
yeah.
It's basically the way it is.
So
We look down the way we work our like we're only ever about 3 weeks ahead of ourselves on what we do. Like for I have this month's releases that are just being brewed now, and then I have no idea what's happening next month. So we'll look at the market. We'll see we'll look at the market. We'll see what's happening. Obviously, like, we're not going to release 3 West Coast IPAs on every brand. So we're looking at like for the Third Circle brand. The main thing that affects what we do in there is price. We're not going to do a triple IPA and then sell it at 250 for at 250 a can.
for
So
sure.
we look at that. A lot of that mostly will go up to about kind of 6% ish, small cans. Um, Other than that, there's no real. We have a kind of weekly meeting where we'll sit down and discuss recipes
Okay,
and
yeah.
beers that we want to do, styles that we want to try, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Like we don't. There's no. I'd love to have my whole year mapped out with beer releases. Because then, because I design all the labels for all the cans and all 3 brands as well.
Ah,
And
very cool.
yeah, so if I had a whole year mapped out of beer releases, I could just design them all now and then just put the feet up, do a Rick and Kinnegar, put the feet in the out. But
That's got to be the running joke for the night, is it?
yeah. But
Do a Rick.
yeah, we don't. Literally, about 2 weeks before we need to brew a beer, we'll sit down and decide what the next round of releases will be for all 3 brands, and go, okay, well, we've done a double IPA for a third barrel. Every second release this year, I think, is going to be a double IPA because they're the only things that fucking sell. That's all that sells. Yeah, people just want double IPAs. Oh, more hops,
you
please. Okay, fair enough.
you
More hops.
you actually you notice that, like, you know, Brad, besides the beer house, my regular is Bradley's, and you go in there, and if Whiplash bring out 3 or 4 beers, the double IPAs and the IPA will sell out flat right. But
Yeah,
if it's a smoky beer or a stout or something with Joe Belgium, they don't really. But the double IPAs fly out the door before, if you don't like, literally done, gone. It's like people, obviously it's the most attractive, appealing beer,
yeah.
but
We
you
noticed
need to
that
broaden your horizons.
we noticed that from the last few years that we release a double IPA, it sells out in a week and a half, two or whatever, and then we release something like a fruit and sour, or we release something like that, and you're sitting on it for 2 months. So we decided, fuck it. I guess every second beer, let's do a double IPA and sell out, and not as in sell out, as in we'll be sellouts,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
as in we'll get rid of it, and then we can move on to the next beer. So every second every second beer for third barrel will be double IPA, and every second beer will be something else. Probably be an IPA because that's all the fucking sells anyway.
What's
Yeah.
the craziest thing you've got planned coming this year, or
Oh,
that you want to take up? And I'm
we've a
talking
load
about what wacky stuff.
We've a load of crazy stuff at the minute actually because we have a small little pilot kit, a 300 litre kit that we mess around on. So we have a Tonka bean chocolate and coffee imperial red there at the minute, which is fucking rotten. So it's probably going to go down the bin.
You had a Tonka bean. You had a Tonka bean.
We've Tonka bean milk stout, which is
Milk
lovely.
stout,
Yeah,
that was lovely,
needs more cowbell, which is
Is there something with those Tonka beans? If you isn't there like they're banned in the US something? If you
oh yeah, but you need to eat a lot of them. A horrible death. Like it's really painful and excruciating, and it's the worst death possible. But you probably need to eat about 500 Tonka beans. Whereas this one we had like 10 Tonka beans and 2,000 liters, so you're okay. Yeah, so we had that. We've got a cherry. We mess around. We bought a lot of purees and extracts, organic extracts and fruits and stuff like that to try and mess around. We've got a sour cherry and toasted coconut imperial stout at the minute. That's tasting rotten as well. So we'll see how that went. But every week, what we do is we'll brew something on the pilot plant just for the crack, and 90% of it goes down the drain. So there's I think I'm going to brew in the autumn, which I had good results on a small batch, is a carrot cake brown ale. So that's brown ale brewed with carrot puree and cinnamon.
Keep going.
Bit of lactose, bit of nutmeg, all that kind of stuff to make it taste like.
So, why the lactose?
You lost us with lactose.
I know.
Why the lactose?
I hate lactose in beers that aren't milk stouts, but because I wanted to make.
If it's milk stout, we can let it go.
No, it's not. It's a brown ale, but I wanted to make sure you're tasting the frosting that you'd have, the cream cheese frosting on top of a carrot cake. So trying to bring it all in. It wouldn't be much lactose, but we're going to bring that out in the autumn as well.
There's just like that taste that and we came down to it recently that it must be the lactose. I'm not going to mention breweries but it just seems that a lot of the
Rascals are beer hut.
I will not talk about anything. You will not get any information out of me. But there's something in it. And it's when lactose is in a beer, there's almost like a musty taste that's not. It's just I don't know. It's not in my range.
There's a stale taste you get off lactose. So the only thing I compare it to is if you're making a baby's bottle with formula, and you shake up the bottle. You know, you put it under your arm to make sure it's not too hot. And you smell it. And you're like, that's rotten. That's what lactose tastes like.
So why the fuck would you want to put that in beer?
Because it works great in a stout. Like that little bit of sweetness brings out the chocolate and the dark malts and stuff like that. Does not work. Like this is my opinion, not the opinion of Third Barrel, I must say. Hopefully it is the opinion of Third Barrel, but I haven't confirmed it yet. Is like lactose and IPAs can go fuck itself because that is the worst thing you could ever do. Like who wants to drink milky hops? Nobody wants to drink milky hops.
Yeah.
No. So, but lactose in dark beers, brown ales, stouts, that really works because it's like putting a little bit of salt in your chocolate. It just brings out the sweetness of the lactose. Just brings out all the lovely flavors in the dark malts. So I'm all for that.
Good man. Let's throw one more at you, and then we bring on our Lena, who's going to be in our industry seal this week.
Lactose has been milked to death. That's brilliant.
Yeah, milk to death. We're going to milk the industry seal this week. We're going to bring someone on from the beer house. We mentioned the other night, and I just thought it was very interesting. You just said like export is a massive part of your output. And like I saw on your website, like what are you, 11 or 12 countries now or something like that?
Yeah. Some of them have fallen. Some of them have fallen by the wayside now because of COVID, but only for temporarily.
But two that popped out at me, I just went, Switzerland and Portugal. They're not really cracked. Sean, stop messing with the cameras. They're two that jumped out at me and was like, wow, like Switzerland and Portugal, really for Third Barrel?
Yeah. Switzerland's great crack.
The rest of them were like, yeah, that makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah. Switzerland's great crack. We've been over there for a couple of beer festivals and it's great crack. Not great crack doing all the paperwork to get the beer into Switzerland because it's not in the EU. So beer within the EU, we use a system called EMCS, which means it travels freely between all EU countries. But the minute it hits the border between France and Switzerland, there's about a 25-page dossier of paperwork you have to fill out to get the beer in, which is a pain in the fucking hole. But they're good countries. Portugal's really good. Portugal's a really good country, but only in the big cities. So your Lisbons and your Porto and all that kind of stuff. Down the Algarve, there's not much there, and they don't sell. It's all English city brands like Old Speckled Hen. Like, who wants to drink Old Speckled Hen in the Algarve when it's 40 degrees? Not
True.
me. Like, yeah, like we do. I say on a good year, about 75% of our output between three brands would be exported.
Wow.
The rest is sold in Ireland. Yeah. So
That's,
this year we're currently running at about 50% I think, of what we produced so far this year has been exported. But then again, that takes into account January, when you don't really sell beer import anywhere anyway. So I'd hope to be hitting around 75% before the end of the year again. So it seems to be open back up. We just started today actually to export to Poland now as well. So that's another country. So
brilliant stuff. Should we bring on our a little bit of the beer house? Bring on Lena. Lads, be nice to her. There's a lady on the screens. Lena, good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are we?
Hey, Lena.
Hello.
I must thank you for answering the call around 5 o'clock when Anton had a bit of an issue with his elbow. So I just said, who we call? We'll call Lena.
All good. I'm here.
Yeah.
To the rescue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us.
Cut and tuck.
Are you supping this evening? Are you drinking this evening?
Yes, I am. So I am having the Fandango tonight from Rising Suns. I like it.
Oh, jeez. Going local.
Yeah, and also
I'm all about local.
of course, the Brewdog. I'm in love with this.
Boo.
Was that the dub shouting?
No.
Tell us, Lena. I mean, outside of obviously working in the beer house, how have you survived this shit show, as we've renamed the pandemic?
So far, with a lot of Netflix and a lot of just lying in bed doing nothing. So it was grand. I didn't
doing nothing.
Yeah.
I like it.
I did a whole lot of nothing. I didn't jump on the whole going for walks bandwagon because I just couldn't be arsed. Yeah, that's boring. But
you need a dog.
Yeah,
you need a dog to go for a walk. Otherwise, I mean, what's the point?
Walking is like going from one place to another place. I don't see the point in walking for the sake of walking. It's a means to an end. Because I want to get from A to B. I don't want to just walk for the sake of it. Like, it's effort.
It's great usually on Friday nights if you just do a little pub crawl through town, so you get your walk in and get langers while you do it. It's great.
But that's exactly the point. I mean, Kevin just said it. Like, walking is a means to an end. So that pub crawl is a means to an end. Like, and obviously it's a hydration stop. And what Dave and I found out last night is that I think the beer house must be the most popular bathroom stop in the whole of Cork City.
It's not that bad.
We shouldn't be letting people into the toilet, should we?
Yeah, sorry.
We're outside leaving them in, but no, like, I mean, yeah. Let's not dwell on that.
Okay, so look, we've cracked the third beer.
Have you cracked a third beer?
Yeah, I saw our boss crack it. So Kevin was on the way, so I thought I'd follow. So we have now upped it up.
It'll be the first episode we run out of beer. We should have had 5 beers.
Boom.
Three lads supping like fucking lunatics, like.
I told you, David. I told you.
Let's crack the third one. Where's my beer? Yeah.
Do it. Get it open.
Kev, read the side of the can there and tell us all about when life gives you hops.
This is we brewed this a week after the room, so it's still fresh in my mind. It's basically a big hit double IPA, Galaxy and Vic Secret hops. So we're talking about the Southern Hemisphere hops earlier on, and we piled a load of hops into a beer, and it's probably too hoppy. So It's
No.
there's nothing more about it. The Galaxy and Vic Secret Hops give you a lovely kind of a peach and pineapple kind of punch, as in the drink punch, not a punch in the face. But it's it's a great beer. I've gone off double IPAs recently. I think I've gone pushed more into lagers for the last while. I find myself, if I drink a double IPA, I could have 4 or 5 of them, and then I'm screwed. So so I just gave I'm upstairs now, so I just gave the floor 2 knocks to let my wife know that I'm going to be screwed now in a few minutes. So happy days.
Yeah, getting back to yourself, Elena. Anyway, like I mean, obviously you've got a beer house blood and beer in you know.
I do, yes.
Yeah, I mean, were you always into craft beer, or was it like did you develop this a bit more? Obviously,
So since-
being
since
German, you were into
working-
beer, but like since start working in the beer house, did the interest grow?
Oh, it's definitely since working in the beers, even more than before already. Like at home, I saw the first like pure local craft brewery in a district of ours, and they had like beer from all over the world, and I was overwhelmed. I was like, holy shit, how can I ever try every single one of them? They all look amazing. And then I got here, and it kind of just went from there. There was no stopping anymore. It's just I want everything,
like,
and when it looks
you can't
pretty,
you can't work in a beer house and not drink beer. I mean, like you could work in the beer house and drink pints of Crombacher every night, and you kind of go after work and go, there's a lot of other stuff here. There's 31 taps to drink here. I've got to try at least 1 or 2. I might not like.
It helps me with the marketing a lot as well. If it looks pretty, I'm like, yeah, definitely buying
it. What's your favorite beer? Like what's your go-to if you had any choice?
Well, at the moment, I'm kind of just drinking a lot of the Journeyman, the one that you get in Centra. I think it's nice, simple, and fairly tasty, and it's cheap as well. So,
do you miss your German beer at all, or?
Yeah, sometimes I do drink like the Jever that we get in the beer house and the Flensburger. So like they're 2 locals. My mom is from Flensburg, my dad is from Jever. So it's like
wow, yeah. Imagine selling that stuff over the counter in the beer house and kind of going, yeah. What German beers you got? Like mom was from here, my dad is from here. I've got these 2 beers. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's. I do miss them. There's a few beers from Hamburg I would love to see more in Ireland. They're called like Astra. It's a fairly local beer, and it's dirty.
Becker is
honest.
North as well, isn't it? Becker is what that was.
Stedebecker, yeah.
Stedebecker.
I like.
What were those sweets that you gave me that one night? You brought some sweets back from Germany that time.
Oh,
they're like a chocolatey eclair or something like that.
Oh,
we're not getting into jelly snacks now again, are we?
No. They were legitimate.
With Mike on last week, and there was about 10 or 15 minutes about jelly snakes.
They were legal sweets. There was no stopping in Amsterdam for this.
I can't remember what they were.
You know what? It's fine. Let's put you under a little bit of pressure. What's it like working for Dave? Is it good?
Oh,
I like it.
All right, you know what? I'll take myself off the stream and I'll mute my. No, you know what? I'll mute myself right now.
There's no need for it.
Let this be your virtual suggestion box.
Yeah.
No, it is. I really much like it. I can pretty much do whatever I want as long as I don't burn the place down and don't shoo away the customers. So I can be me. And that works. It's pretty cool. So,
who pours the fastest beer? You, Dave, or John?
Definitely me, because German efficiency.
Oh, touche. Although I must say, like we are still trying to negotiate about the level of head that gets put on.
Because everyone wants something different. You cannot keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm very, very good. And like, I think we're going to bring Kevin in for this question as well. Do you remember your first beer experience?
Beer, like, when we talk about beer, what type of beer? My first beer experience was about 13, and I found,
as I would believe,
and I found 4 cans of wholesome pills. Me and my friends did in a bush, and we drank them.
In a bush,
and we got really drunk. Yeah, but like that was my first beer experience. But
yeah,
you know, It's been a downward spiral since then.
Kev, what age are you yourself, Kev? What age are you?
I don't want to. I just had my 40th birthday a couple of weeks ago.
Jeez, I'm 43. I'm older than you. Come on.
I know you look.
You're my gentry. Thanks. I've got hair. I've got hair on my head this week. Not much in the front, but loads on the back. But no. Do you remember drinking rock shandy? And,
I do remember drinking rock shandy.
But realizing what was the ABV on that? It was like
0.05% or something like
that. Drinking that as a kid and going, there's booze in that, and kind of going, I'm drunk. There's alcohol in that.
500ml cans of it from Super Value for 19p or something like that.
Rock shandy, 0.5%. Yeah.
Kev, I'll tell you what. My mates and I, we used to hide our booze in the hedge outside our two parents' places. So we used to hide the booze there, pick it up afterwards, so we could go out and have a bit of a session out before we went to the underage club that was actually overage, that everyone inside was actually underage. But anyway, that was naughty little high school boys. Later, where was your first beer experience?
We kind of get eased into it a little because we can start drinking like when we're 16, like beer and kind of wine. So like you go with your parents to the restaurant and they're like, yeah, get a shandy. And then it starts from there. And I think it was 13 the first time I drank too much, and my parents didn't know where it was. And they didn't know until years later, and I told them what happened that night. So I kept it a secret. It was great.
Tell us, Lena, we joked a few months ago about the fact that you had your 1-year anniversary of working in the beer house. All right? And I actually said to you, I pointed out, you probably worked about 3 months. All right?
Yeah.
With COVID. Outside of that little joke, anyway. Come on, you must have a good tale or a good moment from the beer house in the last, we'll say, 3 or 4 months that you've worked there, or 12 months. Something that's kind of stuck out to kind of went a moment between yourself and the regular, or myself or John, or something. You kind of went.
It was the nicest. I kind of was pretty much at the start because a lot of the locals kind of helped me around the bar. They taught me where beer was. They taught me what the kind of different glasses were, because there were some glasses I've never seen in my life. I didn't know what they were called.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice, and immediately I was made feel welcome. So that was kind of my wholesome favorite of all, I think. Oh, and the dogs. The dogs are always great.
Yeah. No, what I was touching on was like a good story. We want dirt. We want something that like, come on. There must have been something some night that I wasn't there or John wasn't there. There was okay. Let's put something in your mouth. So, can we mention the clock?
I've got a story as well.
Hold up. Can we mention the clock? And when we gave the beer house Murphy's clock to Connor.
Oh yeah,
and we put up a small little Galway hooker bottle thing in while I was buying a new clock, everyone that came in just drove you fucking nuts. What did you put on the counter? Did you put something on the counter or something?
Yes, I put something on the counter along the words like mentioning the clock will result in the loss of a ball or the loss of an ovary, because it just had enough.
Every person
you will be castrated. Boom, testicle gone.
Everybody that came in was like, "What's with the clock? What's with the clock? What's with the clock? What's with the clock?" And like, I worked the weekdays, but you guys were there like I think Thursday, Friday, and every second person that came in was like, "What's with the clock? What's with the clock?"
And I didn't even know what happened. It was just I didn't even notice it was gone. I didn't, and I did to this day I don't understand why everyone was so obsessed with that clock. I've never been at a pub where it was like.
Because you were too busy working and dedicated to the job. You know, you weren't like Dave standing at the other end of the counter, you know, reading the books or doing something. I mean, I remember walking into the bar once. I sat down. It was on a Sunday. And there was one lad to the left of me. And I just sat down. I went in, opened up my iPad, started watching the sport game. And eventually he said to me, he's like, "Do you want a drink?" And then eventually David looks up. I was like, "No, I'm fine. Like, I'm just waiting for him to realize that I'm fucking here."
Dude, Your first night, your first couple of nights, you were inside in the beer house. You shouldn't get.
Oh, we're gonna have to.
You rolled in from the Rising Suns wherever you rocked out or watching.
We're gonna have to mute you here now, David.
Watching one of your Liverpool teams losing or something like that. You know.
Liverpool, what a great team. Lena, but we do have one last story to touch on with you because Dave was talking about a good story, but there was a certain story about a lock-in. What do you understand about an Irish lock-in?
You can smoke usually in the bar, and it's fine usually, and you can drink and have your crack behind closed doors. And I thought it was okay. And my first night I started working, so that's what we did. And another person was there as well and said, yeah, everything's fine, that I thought was us well in charge. And then eventually it was not okay, and I didn't know, and I felt really bad. It was my first night, and I was for 3 days. They sent me a text the day after that wasn't cool, and I didn't answer for like 3 days later because I was off, because I was terrified that I fucked everything up. It's like, why my first night? I wasn't just not aware that that's not okay in the bar, and it's won't do it again.
Lena, you're still here 3 months later, or a year in COVID terms, whatever, a year and 3 months. But we still love you. Come on.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. And you're wonderful. You're wonderful, because I mean, Jesus, like you come on at short notice as well. My last question for you, Lena. Right?
And you're much better looking than David and John, so it's a pleasure to have you in the bar.
And Anton, who should have been, and Anton, who do we know tonight? My last.
Although I think Connell might have better hair. No, I'm joking. This is more of a piss take on Connell.
My last one for you tonight, Lena, is you can plug it away if you want. You got into. I know you've studied photography, and through the COVID thing, you've got. I mean, if anyone looks at the Beer House website or some of the photography there, well, the earlier stuff is Lena taking photographs of the beer. So, Kev, if you're looking for a photographer for your website, Lena's the person to hit
Always
up.
there.
Always there.
Yeah, I studied that.
She's cheap.
Home.
She's cheap.
Yeah.
Couple of beers, she'll sort you out. Case of beer.
Not as cheap as this. My broken Samsung phone. That's basically what I've been taking all the photos of every beer we've ever made on, and it's broken. Like we can see the cracks in the screen. Like, it's terrible.
Kev, Kev, you are a great crack.
Oh my God! I was so happy.
You're such a dad.
I know. I was so happy to join this earlier on, and you just ruined it by that one line.
So Lena, what I wanted to say was, recently you launched a website, and yes. Wasn't a website, or you're selling your own photography, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to touch on that, yeah, and tell people what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. We're not like I recently just started.
Plug yourself.
An Etsy shop.
It's your platform.
Yes, just to like load up a couple of pictures, a couple of prints of the lovely, at the moment, coast of Ireland, lovely landscape. I mean, how can you not take photos of it and make them look cool? So that's what I'm doing. But on my normal Instagram, I just post all the kind of stuff that I usually do. So Etsy is for print selling, and my personal stuff is what I do. And if people want photos, I just want to get my name out there at the moment and get back into my profession and passion as well. So yeah, need photos.
Yeah. So how does someone? Is there a website, or can we put up a link?
Yeah. So
you want to give us a link, and we put up a link on our
page? Yeah. So on Instagram, it's just Lena Munt Photography, which is
don't worry, we'll share it on the comments and all that. If you text it onto one of us there, I'll give it on to Sean, and Sean will put up on the messages.
I can pop it in.
By all means, support Lena. Lena, don't get too big and too famous, because we don't want you to leave the beer house. You know, you're wonderful. You know, like you know, don't forget us. Like, don't become like the.
No.
Don't become the the equivalent of a Beyonce Knowles, something like that, you know. Just you know, stay nice and small, nice and local.
Yeah, I'm too cool to become famous.
You know what, Kevin? You wouldn't be out of touch, because there's something about Germans that they do a few things right, and obviously it's the precision. But I don't know if it's the way that they were raised, But whether it be sport, beer, there's those two things they don't mess up.
No.
Cars.
Cars.
Well, unless you're
Cars.
Volkswagen, you're lying about your diesel emissions, but like we'll let that go.
Let's get Greenpeace on the show now.
Anyway, Lena, unless you have any questions for Kev or you want to embarrass Sean, we'll let you go.
No, we don't want to embarrass Sean. Goodbye, Lena. Thank you for coming on to us.
No, I just can't wait to kick Sean out of the beer house when he's drunk again. So that's really great.
Definitely.
Never happened.
Me and you both.
I think we should. I think all the brewers who've come on here to talk should be invited down for the night. You kick Sean out for being too drunk. Thanks,
Kev. Come here. Do you know what I was thinking? Do you know what I was thinking about the other night was like, can you imagine the scream when someone breaks a glass?
Hey! Oh, that's gonna be
like, you know the old "Hooray!" or just shout up. Is it the same in Dublin? Everyone shouts "taxi."
No, I don't think it'd even be a scream.
No,
I think everybody would actually help to clean it up. They're so used to breaking glasses in their own kitchen. They'd be just like, "Oh, well, give your hands. Come on, give me the brush. I'll do it."
I'm pretty sure I've never broken a glass in the beer house, but I stand to be corrected.
Yes, very much so corrected.
Okay, right. Goodbye, later. Nice to see you.
Oh God, yeah. Anyway, Lena, thank you for coming on.
Guys.
You've been amazing.
Cheers, Lena.
And we will talk to you soon, by all means.
Yes.
All right.
Oh yeah, I'm working tomorrow. If anybody wants to come by and see me in person, I'm handling the store tomorrow.
No, you're not working. You're just doing collections. Let's make that correction.
You're
standing in there for collections.
I'm trading.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to say goodbye.
Yes.
Bye, Lena. You're not going to be there at 2:00 in the morning.
Bye, Lena. Thank you.
Cheers, Lena.
Oh, that was funny.
I think we need to go from beauty to the beast.
Yeah. This is Kev. You met the boy Quinn the other night.
I met him the other night. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Tony.
Tony's on mute.
No,
Tony,
someone turned off my mic.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What's on your head? Are you wearing a hat?
I'm wearing a beer house hat.
Oh, beer. Yeah, you got to.
Not like advertising.
You got to pip it down as well, but we can't see it properly. Got to
You
make
can't
your
see
head
me lovely
smaller.
face then.
Yeah.
Who called me a beast?
And your glasses. I mean, geez, I never knew you wore glasses. You look all intelligence and stuff now.
Don't die.
He has to look professional, like
13 years to do the quiz. Jesus, turn that off.
He's on. I mean, from
He's
the
on.
waist down.
So what?
From the waist down, he's probably wearing his underpants. But I mean, he looks good up.
Of course, it's a skirt.
No.
It's a skirt, and I never shaved my legs, so I can't show you.
Talking about
talking about legs. You did wax your legs one night in the beer house.
Yes, we did.
What? Tell that story.
Yeah, there was a wax off in the beer house.
between who?
And come here. Are you
Everyone.
Still, are you still bald from the knee down?
I still have bald legs.
They never.
They never grew back.
Yeah, we had a charity night. Geez, that must be 10 years ago.
Plus that, I'd say.
Plus. We're only open 15, so it must be 10, 11 years ago. It was for Jesus. I remember the girl, Paula was her name. I don't know what it was for. Some cancer society. Can I have a waxing thing in the beer house on a Friday evening at 5:00?
That sounded like she got a wrong number.
And she was like a waxing event for some charity, and I was like, oh, yeah, Paula, I know you, yeah, you can have it. Do you have all the tables and everything else? And yeah. So I got Tony on board, and of course, being the owner of the bar, I was involved, and before I knew it, so there was lads getting bits of hair ripped off everything. Like, so I was like, look, from the knee down, I'll do but my hair grew back. But to this day, Tony's hair hasn't grown back from the knee down.
Well, I was going to say the same thing about your head, but like I thought that might be a bit too harsh.
Oh,
all
mentions of my head.
Sorry.
Tony, like for those of you people who don't For those of the people
No,
who don't
Kev,
know,
I love that, Kev. I love that. I love the bit of banter. Come on, bring it on, bring it on. Fire with fire.
I
Um,
thought that was the funniest thing I've ever
it's
said.
it's going to come.
Are we all square now? At the
I
moment,
don't know. I'm pretty drunk, so I go for it.
It's going to come back now. But so Tony, for those of you like everyone who doesn't know you, I mean, you were actually in the beer house before the beer house was actually the beer house. It used to be called, what was it? The
head of the river.
Head of the river. So you were actually there before, and I mean, for the people who don't know you, you used to host the quiz. We also have a friendly game of cards, once a week. I mean, hopefully that'll all get back to normal soon. But I mean, what do you do in your normal life? You are like
as little as
I'm
possible.
a handyman. You're a man of all trades. Jack of all.
We own a property maintenance business, so we would basically fix whatever needs to be fixed in a house.
But you do some plumbing as well, right?
We do a bit of plumbing, fix cookers, washing machines, whatever.
Would you?
No, but prefer to be in the beer house.
Would you ever consider wearing red overalls? Like Mario and Luigi.
what?
Nah.
Nah, you got the hearts of Mario. There's just something that resembles it. But anyway, have you got any good stories about Dave? I mean,
oh God, where to begin?
we need a turn on Dave now. Like, I mean, he's getting way too cocky for his boots. The alpha male is the barman.
Can we mute this? Can we mute the Bach for a little while?
Yeah. I don't know. Like I met Dave, before the beer house, when he worked in another establishment, and I used to maintain the apartments over it. And Dave would be ringing me every second week, going, "There's a leak coming down here, and this has gone there, and the lights have gone there." And soon we became friends. Then he opened the beer house, and the rest is history.
Very good.
Good guy.
I mean, like Tony, like obviously, I mean, over the years, I mean, as Sean touched on it, like I mean, you drank in the beer house like before the beer house was even existed. We called it the Head of River. I mean, you must have a good tale from down the year, like a favorite moment or one or two good
been
tales.
So many, Dave.
I mean, but like give us one or two. Like give us one or two that you don't have to mention.
The night I broke the television playing Wii.
Yeah, that still has to be paid for. Yeah, that
still has to be paid
for.
Then,
although we're probably even because I broke your what was that the gazebo? Yeah, we're
yes.
even. Yeah, you're still up. You're still up.
But down through the years, I bought you a house, 4 cars. Do you know the money we spent in the beer house?
I was gonna say I never knew you were that wealthy, Tony. I'm coming for you.
No, I gave it all to Dave.
Well, with Dave's prices, as you do, I mean.
Yes, but I suppose we had the ice bucket challenge.
That was a funny evening. That really was a funny evening. Jeez.
Fecker
was that
with a slow pour.
Did you do it outside?
Oh, we did it outside.
Yeah.
How many people did David do it?
Yeah, myself and Dave did it.
Have we got video?
Yeah,
we do.
There's video, yeah.
I need to get that video from. We'll post that for everyone. We will have that on the next episode.
We'll find that.
It's there somewhere.
Yeah, it's in the archives.
We must apologize in advance for the ghastly image that will be shown, but we will have David getting poured with ice cold water.
What else did we do, Dave?
Huh?
I said, what else did we do down through the years? We had bingo.
Oh, jeez,
that was a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, that paid for itself. Yeah.
All the fourth party board.
Oh, stop.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All the weirdos that came in.
We touched on Stoolgate last week. We won't go there 2 weeks ago.
You still get out of it.
We will stay with that. What else was I going to ask you? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. The Christmas party. And we made the X Factor stage for the karaoke.
Oh, yes.
What? There was karaoke in the beer house?
Yes.
Hold on. I need to know about this.
Karaoke.
If there's karaoke anywhere, I'm all over it. Yeah. If you
have
have heard the drunk Kev sing "Live Forever" on
Kev, we don't have live music tonight, so if you want to fall in and you can sing, I mean, by all means.
I'll go downstairs and get my guitar now, and No, that's not going to happen. Actually, no way.
But
Have another beer. Get the guitar.
Let's say you do a tap takeover down in at the beer house, because it's only a matter of time.
That's happening.
That night, you have to do karaoke. Can we get you on?
No, that night there has to be general karaoke, and I will partake.
Yeah,
because that
Okay.
David, I think
Sure.
a tap takeover mixed with karaoke could possibly be the best moment of the century so far.
Fantastic. We got you on word. David, can you agree?
Oh, we're agreeing to that.
Done.
Tony,
And I know Darren
What?
McGovern's on here, and I want to hear him sing a bit of Cyndi Lauper.
Jesus Christ. So tell us, Tony, like, I mean, you're a stout drinker. When you're in the beer house, you like your porterhouse plain. You know, you like your creamy stout.
What are you drinking now?
I mean, like
Nothing.
Like, come here, like, honestly, on a serious note, I mean, lads can drink their IPAs, they can drink their lagers from a can, from home. There's nothing that can I mean, I know you can get draft stout from a can. You
can't.
You can, but you can't. No pun intended there. You must be craving a pint from draft. There's nothing that can replicate if you're a stout
Nothing.
drinker. No.
Nothing. And the last pint of porterhouse I had, oh God, was it the end of November, start of December?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time.
You probably had a gallon that night on the last night that you went, yeah, they're closing tomorrow, I might as well get them in.
I didn't, because you ran out of it and we had to drink the Aspels.
Oh, yes.
Or no, the MacGyvers.
You remember that? I was there as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So I couldn't even enjoy my last night in the beer house.
Sean, I'm going to duck out for a second and nature call, so you can ask Tony a question or two there.
Oh, this is the time we get some real dirt on Dave. But
you know what? Pint of porterhouse plain all the same. I have to say it though. Porterhouse plain.
Port is lovely.
Pint of it. Job fucking done. Like, you can sit there and say 6 points of them and not think of it because it's fantastic.
I'd have a gallon or two.
It seems to be the classic. You know, it seems to be. Oh no! Listen, Kevin, you actually don't understand. Tony orders 2 of them at a time, so that he's gone by it, and then it's still. I mean,
and then they would have settled, and you go again.
Wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? No point settling. Like just.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh,
it's 5 months now since I had one.
I know.
Fit to kill.
Same.
And I thought I would lose a fortune away it. Nah. Nah.
Kevin, have you've been down to the beer house?
Oh yeah. I've had it.
So
I've fallen out that door a few times. All right.
So there's a couple of chairs inside the beer house that have a high backrest. It's the king and queen chair, and normally they are, filled with Tony and Kay. But Tony, he's a little bit older than all of us, but not too old. Still very young and hot. And he and his missus normally sit at those chairs at the end of the bar until about 7:30. But then we also have young Prince Tony with his fair maiden Ma, who, as soon as Tony and Kay disappear, they jump right in and
there's an understanding. There's a mutual understanding.
That's called a coup in a lot of countries.
So we had to get our own little reserve signs made up and everything.
Yeah. So what happened? What happens if you get there first, Tony? Do you take the chair, and if the old man comes in, do you get up?
I stand up. I give it to him.
It's his throne. It's their throne.
I'm afraid of him.
It's their throne. They've been Kay and Tony have been drinking their Jesus.
Not as long as me, but a long time.
Well, no one's been drinking. As I said to you many years ago, pre-beer house years do not count.
They don't count.
No, they don't count.
They don't count.
14 years. I'd say they've been drinking there 14 years. Easily. Yeah, and yeah, sure, Jesus, you've been drinking from there. You've been drinking the beer house
day one.
Day dot.
Tony, when was your first beer experience? I mean, you are definitely a naughty bugger. So
I was very good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was 20 or 21 before I had a pint.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Were
making
you
up for lost time.
a pioneer or something, no?
Yeah, Mark,
No, I just never drank.
you
Yeah,
got through
yeah.
puberty
No.
without drinking. Fair play
Yeah.
to you.
We had a snooker club down the end of the hill, like, you know. So too many hours spent in there.
Tony,
So
let's
yeah,
let's
go
just
ahead.
pull back onto the beer talk for one moment because
Go on,
that's
go ahead,
why
yeah.
a lot of people are here. Kev, is there any style of beer that you won't brew from Michael McMahon?
Well, Michael, I will never brew a milkshake IPA because they can fuck off.
Ooh,
Basically,
I can
as I said
remember.
earlier on, lactose and hops do not mix.
Yeah.
No one wants it. It shouldn't exist. And anybody that does it should hang their head in shame. That's a bold statement, but I'm going to stand by it.
I think you've got some warring words for a fellow Dublin brewery that I know. That's really
on a side note,
Friends of ours.
on a side note, they're jumping over to Tony while he's on. Tony, would you ever? I mean, I know you're a stout drinker. You're a pint of stout. Have you ever like been tempted by an IPA or another style of beer, be it a sour or in the beer house, kind of go, ooh, I might try that or anything else?
Well, I could never drink lagers or beers like that.
Yeah.
Like I have ulcer problems, like, you know, so I could never drink. They'd be too
that's fair
harsh on
enough.
my stomach.
Yeah.
But
have you ever looked
I
at the menu and
suppose-
went? Have you ever looked at okay, outside of the problem with the stomach? Have you ever looked at stuff and went, ooh, I wouldn't mind trying that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. All right.
like again, it goes back to a stout, like, but the orange stout that you used to have in there.
Yeah. Orange stout.
It was like fizzy orange stout. It was beautiful.
Oh, that was. I think he's gone. That was James Brown. James Brown Brews. Yeah.
Brown, that was it.
Brews, yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That was lovely.
He worked for O'Brien's off licenses, I think.
Yeah,
he wanted a contract brew with us for about 3 years ago, but then he went off the scene. I think he's gone now, yeah?
Yeah, I think he's gone, yeah. Tony, the last question for you before we kick you off.
Yeah.
All right. This is self-promotion if there ever was, all right?
I'm ready.
I mean, yeah, all right. I mean, no.
What's the best thing about the beer house?
Yeah, Kev. Kev, you've asked the question. Almost.
In my honest opinion.
No, almost. Okay.
Well, apart from Dave.
No, I'll rephrase.
Are you talking shit? No.
I'll rephrase the question. All right. What in your opinion, right, is the beer house Cork's secret for its success in 15 years? Which it will reach in the last because obviously, like, you drank in bars.
I drank everywhere.
But you drank in the head of the river before.
You've been around.
No,
Dave, I was born in the 60s. I've been around a long time.
But you've seen, what I'm trying to get at is you've seen other bars try
crash and burn and fail miserably.
Burn in the current premises that the Beer House Cork is in.
Yeah.
And what is the secret for the Beer House Cork?
The secret is the atmosphere that you create in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone in there is so friendly. You can walk in your own and have a conversation with 10 different people. If you want to be left on your own, you're left alone. You're always made feel welcome. I'm a smoker. I can leave my phone on the counter, go out for a smoke. No one will touch it.
You've often said
There's
that to
not
me.
many bars in the country that you can say that.
You've often said that to me, and I never appreciated that. That, you know, you said, I can leave my stuff there, and you know that's
no one will touch it, or someone will say, "Excuse me, is that yours?"
Yeah, I hear you.
Like you
can't
other bars
around the place,
Africa.
That's in someone's pocket, and they're gone.
Gone.
They're gone. You know, like so. But it's the atmosphere, it's the people. They're all so friendly. Great crowd, great crack, great beer.
Me,
it's just
me,
Dave.
Yeah. That's a sign of a good pub, guys. Is when you go out for a smoke, and you can leave your phone, your wallet, and your smokes and your pint at the bar with your jacket. Off you go out, and you come back 5 minutes later. Everything's still there. You sit back down in your spot. Nothing's moved.
Even when the bar was jammed, your seat is still there.
Well, Kev, what you don't realise that if you're a regular and you're leaving your cigarettes or your phone or your whatever, your jacket on the chair on the counter, there might be, okay, me as a bartender, I'll go, oh, Tony Margarita gone out. I'll go, yeah, I have an eye on them. But there might be two
Oh,
or
yeah.
three regulars
Oh,
with their
yeah.
eye on their stuff as well.
That's what I mean. But like,
it's a
you
small,
don't get that in the bigger bars because they don't have the regulars. It's just full of tourists. Well, no, especially in Dublin, like just full of tourists and stuff like that.
But they're
Whereas
just drinking factories. They're not pubs.
exactly,
The beer house is a pub.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So you can if it's somewhere where you know there's no the best compliment I give a pub is when you can walk in on your own and not feel like you're on your own. Just have your pint,
Yeah.
sit down,
Yeah.
job
In
done.
my honest
That's the
opinion,
best
what
pub
the
ever.
beer house, the only thing the beer house is lacking is a fireplace.
Oh,
Because on a cold, wet, windy night, you come into an open fire. You say, "That's it. I'm here for the night."
But
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
and I would love that. But in fairness, it's very seldom that the beer house is cold.
No, but even just the look of it.
Yeah, just there's nothing
Alright.
better than open fire. Nothing better.
Come here, Tony. You played fucking darts in the head of the
We've
river.
played
and you're
darts.
telling me
Yeah,
you
we did
played
dart team.
darts.
We had a bowling team.
the small. Come here.
The shorts
Talking about the bowling. Like, Jesus, we touched on the Wii. Do you remember the night that we played bowling?
With all the Yanks.
But there was an American mother and daughter. And we were playing Wii bowling, so it was like the Ryder Cup. It was like USA versus
USA.
Europe.
Beer
And
house.
it was
Beer
like
house.
USA, and it was like
We the bar
beer
split
house.
in two, then whose side we on?
Jesus Christ! But
Happy days.
Oh, it was funny. It was funny.
They'll be back.
Where else did you get away with that fucking carry on? Like, crazy carry on.
Very, very, very few places.
Yeah, crazy.
You know, and like there's not one bad client in the beer house. Because if you don't like the look of a guy, he's bounced before he's even served.
Well,
You know?
there's kind of.
I know they've let me in a million times, so I don't know.
Kev, we know you now, man. We know you now. You're on the radar.
I'm just thinking that we need to take over the Indian place for that beer fest with all the breweries that have been on the Houseflies Live. Once we get past the shit show that we're currently in, and just have a really grand fucking festival. And
karaoke. And karaoke.
I'll let see the karaoke that night.
Karaoke.
We'll have to speak to Robbie and see if we can maybe take over the parking lot. I doubt that will ever happen.
You'd never know.
Anyway, lads. Tony, thanks a million for coming on, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Tony, just on that, is there?
Can we ask you how hot was that stool?
Which one?
I mean, the one you're sitting, obviously.
With rocking.
Thanks for sitting in the hot stool.
Not a bother.
Sean, you had a question before we let him go?
It was just Tony, I know you're pretty much always busy, but is there a business address that we can put out for you, or if someone needs any help with plumbing, maintenance work?
Absolutely.
Or anything like that?
Absolutely, yeah. Sure. Dave is my email address there, sure you can.
Yep.
You can put that up.
Yeah, you can. We can pop that up and
All
drop into
major
the beer.
services
Drop into the beer house, and we'll sort you out.
We'll hook you up.
Buy a beer. Get your washing machine fixed for free.
Get your plumber. Crack included.
Yeah.
All right.
But we don't repair phones, Kev. Sorry.
Tony, you've been better cracked than Kev. Thanks a million, Tony. All right.
Oh jeez, fucking hell.
Because he's no crack. He's got no crack.
Right, son. Only in his phone.
All right. Tony, all the best, man.
All the best, guys. Good night. God bless. Thank you.
Launch you, bud. I don't know where we go from there. Jesus, there's no crack left in the night tonight, is there?
Oh man, I think it's been a good time.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it, guys. I've enjoyed it.
It's been correct.
I'm looking forward to your. Do you have a karaoke song that you'll be singing? Like, I'm looking forward to that.
See, there's a few different ones you can throw in. Like, there's turn around, and you get someone else. Every now and then I get a little again. So
is that like what you and your missus have done before?
No, she's no crack whatsoever. She's French. Um,
Pardon
yeah,
me.
exactly.
He went, suddenly he
No,
went,
not at all.
Comment ça va?
No,
Ça va?
my kids speak more French than I do. Like 13 years I'm with my wife, and I cannot speak a word of French. More shame me.
Ah,
I'm like my kids who are 6 and 3 are fluent in French, so
ah.
it's pretty annoying when they're talking about me behind my back. So I'm so paranoid.
wow.
I can only imagine. I'm learning how to speak Leitrim at the moment, so it's
Oh, yeah.
getting there. Yeah.
The county with the shortest coastline in Ireland, 12 kilometers.
That
There you
is
go,
one of
lads.
the facts. But
That's for the
they
quiz.
have. Okay, yeah, here we go. So, which county has the shortest coastline in the whole of Ireland?
Leitrim, 12 kilometers, my friend. There you go.
Yeah.
Number one. But karaoke, yes. And to be honest, I'm sold on the idea of having a tap takeover / karaoke night. I think that sounds like the best night ever. And Dave agreed to it, so we can't back out now. So
Nope, we've
that's
got
what's
it.
happening. The week the pub's open again, we are down there doing a tap takeover the karaoke night.
You're in. Actually, Kev, before we we wrap up, you have to do your traditional beer house
Some pressure.
House Flies
here.
live.
Pressure.
What do we call it? Quick fire round.
Come on, hit me up.
This is it. All right.
Hit me up. Right, hold on.
Alright.
Let's go. Yes.
David's decided to be all politically correct in the last
Sean,
in the last couple of weeks.
I'm
so-
going to ask 10.
Uh,
I'm going to ask 10 questions. You can throw 11 if you want. Number 11, you can think about it. And while I'm doing the 10, you can throw one at him if you want. Yeah, I'm going to put him on the full screen. Sean, you want to count him in there? 1, 2, 3.
2, 3.
What
Hit me up.
Do you want to fit him in with the rules?
Okay, so basically, have you got a drink next to you?
No. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, well, you're supposed to have a sip for every incorrect answer you give, or if you take
when you start
two, you have 2 seconds to take. So you can run to the bar and get a drink and come back. Okay, I'll
Do you want me
keep
to
the
go get a
counts. No, we'll do the quiz first. I'll keep counts. You can drink it when you come back.
All right.
Let's go. Hit me up.
Kev, here
Yes.
is your quick fire round.
Dun, 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 dun.
Countdown. Huh? Beer, IPA or stout?
Stout.
Whiskey, Irish or Scotch?
Neither, because whiskey's horrible.
All right. Drink. Music, Sinatra or Pantera?
Oh, Sinatra, all the way.
All right. Holidays, sun or snow?
Sun. Although I hate the sun. No beach, though.
All right. Your glass, half full or half empty?
Always full, completely to the top.
Rugby, Leinster or Munster?
Leinster, but Liverpool over both of them.
All right. Beer.
Go on, you Reds!
Beer. Hops, southern or northern?
Northern.
Okay. Sport.
You bastard!
Soccer, Roy Keane or Mick McCarthy?
No, Mick McCarthy. Roy Keane's a cunt.
Oh, TV. What are we talking? Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones?
Ooh, Game of Thrones. Oh, that's a tough one, though.
Stone circles or dolums?
No, I'd go for Stone Circle. Stone Circle, because it's an abbreviation or whatever of our own brand. I like it.
You like the last one? I like the last
That
one.
was
I thought
very
I thought
well
that-
thought out. Very well thought out. I like that. Yeah.
I like the last one. Yeah.
So
Question 11.
everyone's-
Question 11. Sean?
everyone's asking. I'll give you 12. Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera?
Christina Aguilera, better voice. Britney Spears a cunt.
Tits or ass?
I didn't ask this, lads. I didn't ask this for the record. We did not ask this. We are politically correct, Sean.
David, you shut up and let him give the answer.
Yeah. Tits.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, cheers to that.
No. Sean's gone. Sean, there's a problem with his screen there. Yeah. You're back in the middle where you should be.
There we go. Boom, done.
Anyway, do we have any other?
So you're not a fan of Roy Keane?
I think Roy Keane, he's a fucking gobshite. Like, Even when you listen to my Sky Sports, get over yourself. You were a semi-good footballer. Deal with it.
Talking about like
Come
controversial.
here, man. He was better than a semi-good footballer. Come on.
Nah, he's a semi-good footballer and a good team. Like
He also played for United, so they already take a necessary downgrade for that. But I mean,
Kev,
talking
go
about
on, touch on.
like our Irish sports personalities. I see Conor McGregor. What a dickhead.
That's crazy. You're obsessed with Conor this week.
No,
Callum McGregor can fuck off as well. Like he's an awful.
Yeah, he's
not Irish. He's a dickhead. Like as well. Like.
I genuinely think he's an embarrassment to Irish people. Like he went out and said that he is going to donate 500,000. You know, the big man. I've got all these watches and whatever. He's going to donate 500K to Dustin Poirier's charity, and he's pretty much running it. And he's using an excuse. I was like, oh, you know, you guys haven't submitted the thing of how you're going to use it. Fuck off, man.
Like I don't follow Conor McGregor at all. I just think he's a moron. But like I was hearing on the news that he basically just ghosted that other guy. He said, "I'll give $500,000,000," and then ghosted him, not answering phone calls and all. But at the end of the day, like anybody who goes into a pub in the afternoon and then punches a pensioner out, it's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah,
dickhead. So, dickhead.
Because you're like, was that over? You're not drinking. Was that over? You're not drinking my whiskey or something?
Yeah, he offered him a whiskey, and the old man said, "No, I don't want to drink." Like, and he was like, "Oh, why are you?" You're such a dickhead. Like, you know what? It's so bad because he was so good and he had such a good brand going, and it just went beyond everything else, and it's very sad.
And then he goes and sells his Tullamore Jew as Conor McGregor's proper whatever.
Proper 12.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Yeah,
Tullamore Jew.
Kev, before we wrap up, right? Okay, we're gone on. Jesus, what are we at there? Jesus,
I know, you keep me for age. You said it'd be about 45 minutes.
45 minutes? Jesus,
my time is precious.
Yeah. Like
you're going back to the kids, remember that?
Shut up, kids!
All right. I've got to throw at you, all right? There's one thing and one case of beer you can bring to a desert island. What are they?
One thing and one case of beer.
It's got to be your own case of beer, obviously. Yeah?
No, not at all. No. A case of beer would have to be any specific in bottles or cans, or is it just?
No, it can be a case. No, it can be one. It can be a mixed case.
Half and half.
I don't care. It can be a mixed case.
If you're going to drink a solid beer, I would bring a lot of Porterhouse Plain because I think that's the most solid stout Ireland's ever made.
Yep.
I think.
Would it survive on a desert island in the heat?
Yeah, but then it'd have to bring a bit of Yellow Belly Castaway for the quenchiness.
Just because you're going to be cast away.
Oh no, and it's a great beer. And the other thing I would bring would be like a mobile phone, so I could just ring people to tell me as soon as I finished that case of beer and had my little alone time on the desert island, maybe 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days, yeah. And then I'd just ring someone and say, "Pick me up."
Assuming you got a signal.
I've definitely got a thing. It's a magic mobile phone. I can bring it out when I want, yeah. It's a magic mobile phone. So I'll be like, I'm done with this sand. It's getting everywhere. It's bullshit. Every time I eat, I can crunch on something. I hate it. And I'm finished with Porterhouse Plain. I'll be cast away. So come and pick me up and let me go home. Watch Game of Thrones and Liverpool. And
Liverpool.
Look at
Look
at Leinster. Look at everything else that you asked me in a quick fire round.
Okay, I asked you earlier for a question. I mean, I think the numbers are dropping here, but we'll throw it in the Facebook anyway. Do you have a question? And we'll throw out a 12-pack of beer to anyone who has the correct answer.
Yes. What percentage of carafa do we put in the India Inked?
Ooh.
Someone asked that question. Who was it again? Someone asked that question, and I gave the answer. I can't remember what the answer was. But if they were paying attention, they would have got it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. All they have to do is rewind. All right. And the final thing I want to ask you. Hey, you kind of asked it earlier. You kind of answered it earlier because you mentioned Kinnegar. But breweries, Irish and international, you admire that you kind of look up to and kind of go, wow, they're good. They're on point.
Yeah, like I look up
I
to
mean, every episode we've had so far, people have mentioned Kinnegar. I think probably
Kinnegar up there. Like,
for consistency, I think, and for longevity, you know.
Kinnegar are probably the most solid brewery, as in the like a high level craft brewery in Ireland. Like every beer they make is solid. Looking up, I don't know. I don't look up to anybody. I kind of look up to anybody.
When I say look up to, but I admire.
Yeah, but I don't mean that
I don't
mean that in an arrogant sense. I mean, like anybody who owns a brewery, I'll look up to because it's a fucking shit show.
It is.
You're knee deep in grime constantly. Like people, like there's nothing glorious about brewing. It's a horrible fucking job.
Yeah,
and it's
nobody.
You know,
come here.
It's hard work.
No, nobody would open
bullshit,
a brewery. Would you open a brewery tomorrow if you? No, of course.
If I knew what it was about,
to get into.
If I got a €1 million backing, yeah, I definitely would. But like, would I open it from the ground up again? No way.
No,
it's
no
tough
way.
slog. You know what I mean? But no, there's a few breweries like Verdant are pretty fucking good. But though saying that, I've had a couple of misses from them in the last few weeks. Yeah, Kinnegar solid. Galway Bay solid. Whiplash always solid.
Yeah.
Trouble solid.
Gotta mention all your buddies around, like, you know, in the 10-mile radius.
Top Brew.
Yeah,
but you missed
Brewing, Rascals. You missed Rascals, yeah.
Yeah, Top Brew, Wide Street, really good. Otterbank, Declan, his Otterbank, Deck from Yellowbelly, his Otterbank brewery is unbelievable. Who else do I look up to? Cloudwater are always pretty fucking good. You know, Pressure Drop. There's so many breweries. Like, we're blessed. If we can go into an off license now and see more than 15 breweries that you want to buy their beers from, like, when have you ever had that?
True.
When you can go into an off license and see there's 15 beers that I want to fucking buy. Baskeland, they're my new actual favourites. They're pretty good. I don't know. Yeah.
You know what? I love the stouts. They've had a couple.
The pastry stouts are a bit too sweet for my liking. But
not the pastries, but just the normal stouts. I feel that their IPAs have been hits and miss, but they have had a couple of good ones. I mean, obviously, you don't want everything to be the same sort of taste. So, yeah, I give Baskeland a good pass.
Yeah, their West Coast IPA was really fucking solid. Beer Hut.
Was that the black one?
Beer Hut. That's a good show, actually. Beer Hut's a good show.
Beer Hut up the north. The lads in Beer Hut are absolute fucking legends. We met them at the Port Rush Beer Festival back in when the last time? 2019 was the last time we had beer festivals. Fucking sound, lads. Apart from the lactosey milkshake IPAs, which
we won't get in there again.
It doesn't matter who made it. Like if Whiplash make it, if Yellowbelly make it, I'm still gonna hate it because I don't like them beers. But their other beers are like phenomenal, and they're only brewing on a really small system, and they're making fucking savage beers. So that would be my shout out actually.
Okay, and I kind of a side question. Okay, you go first, Sean. Go on, and then we'll wrap up. And thanks, Sean, and thank yourself, Sean. Thank Kevin, thank Lena and Tony. We'll only do the one wrap up tonight because we're normally
we have done.
We've been here and we've been toasted and we've done about 4 wrap ups. All right, 1 wrap up. Go on, Sean.
And this is purely coming from the Beer Hut comment. I had 2 of the beers I picked up. One was their Citra Cornetto that was actually turned out to be very sweet. It was too sweet. I don't know if it was just me, but apparently not. But then the other one was a glazed donut. And I looked on and I looked on their can, and what their can actually said was donuts, in the ingredients. And then on another video, I saw someone, and it looked like they were shoving s'mores into the tank. And I'm just wondering, like, if donuts are listed there, is that what they were doing? They were literally threw in like maybe a couple hundred donuts.
I think so. Yeah, I had that donut beer. Niall
It
from the
wasn't
brewery had
bad.
Niall from the brewery had bought it for my 40th. As part of like that was the end of March, whatever. Like he bought me like 24 beers of random stuff
Yeah,
and few beer hut beers, and the donut beer
that's
was
a
really
great
good.
present.
We had
The
the
donut
I
was
know
good.
me and Niall know each other for 20 years, but like he knows what I like. But we had the Citra Cornetto one or Citra Cornet, whatever,
Yeah.
yesterday in the brewery. And I wasn't a fan. It was too sweet.
I,
It was. I agree with you, 100%.
I don't know what it was. I don't know how they got Citra to taste so sweet. Like
It was like tangy Citra.
yeah.
But it was backed up by a lot of weird sweetness that I didn't like. And I as I said a few times tonight, I can't deal with milkshake IPAs. I think
No,
hops should shine. Hops deserve beer, not milkshakes.
I didn't see if there was any lactose in it, but my
I
mind
don't.
definitely started to wander there, and I immediately I was just like, you know what? You could do 2 or 3 sips of it, but after that, it was like, whoa,
Nah.
like
I
it's too
thought
much.
I thought it was very nice in the first sip or two. I was like, oh wow, this is intense. It's like drinking mango juice. And
Yeah,
then the more I got into it, it's like it got cloying, and I was just like, but like that's not to take anything away from the Beer Hut guys, because I think they are
look, they're good,
probably,
good beers.
one of the most exciting breweries in Ireland at the minute. And
Yeah, well,
on top of that,
the
they're
north, the
fucking
Come
north.
here. That's kind of a side
and they're
question
scout.
that I'm itching to get in there.
Go
Kev,
on.
I mean,
Well, where are we going? Where are we at?
you mentioned a hell of a lot of good, decent breweries there, Irish and international. I mean, who would you love to collaborate with?
We've never got into collaborations.
Yeah, but
We've done a collaboration with
yeah,
Anarchy over in Newcastle because we met them at a beer festival, and
yeah,
they were bang on. They said, "Do you want to come over to Newcastle and the piss?" And we're like, "Ah, yeah."
yeah.
That was it.
We're off. We're off. It's a weekend away.
I don't know who. I don't know.
But like,
I don't.
obviously, someone,
I don't
someone,
think I'd
someone
be
you
into
would go,
collaborations.
wow. Like, I'd love to get. Obviously, you want to put a good name out there. Would be a Cloudwater. They love to put a
I
Cloudwater on the
don't
CD.
know. Cloudwater seems to collaborate with everyone anyway. I don't know. There's no one out there that maybe jump out.
Brewdog.
Oh, definitely get straight into Aldi, live the dream. No,
I've got one for you.
Heineken, Diageo.
maybe one of the big Belgian breweries though, to go out and actually see how to make proper Belgian beer, like triples, quadruples, all that kind of stuff. Like realistically, when you look at people who are making double dry hopped or triple dry hopped IPAs,
Mm.
there might be a slight difference in quality, but realistically, most people know what they're doing. You're
Yeah,
not going to learn anything.
You're right.
I want to learn off monks up a mountain in Belgium. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
it's
It's a good point. It's a good point. Do you know what?
I've got one for you.
You touched on a great point there. Sorry, Sean. Go on ahead.
No, I was going to say I've got one for you. Holy Goat from Scotland. They're fairly new, but they've got a really cool vibe. And with exactly what we had tonight with I'm a Boss, like really fruity, but it's not a complete juice bomb, but you get all the flavor with it.
Yeah.
And this Holy Goat, they have a really good marketing thing. So I think that I'm going to try hook that up.
That'll
be pimping you guys out.
If I can get a free beer trip to anywhere, well then happy fucking days. I'll do it. I don't care.
Bring.
At this stage.
Kev, I've got kids. Bring me with you. Come on.
Oh, come. We have to
come
go.
here. Come here, man. Come on.
Set it up.
Come here, man. I've spoken to Paul from White Hag above in this is making laugh up in House Stravaganza. He was like, yeah, we've been over to France doing collaborations, and we've been over on tap takeovers and blah blah blah. We've been in Belgium, we've been in Italy, and I was like, yeah, can I go? He was like, yeah, you can go. Yeah, you can go. I was like, you know what I mean? And he was looking at me. He was like, yeah, you can come. I was like, no, but like, I'll go. Just tell me when this is happening. I'll pay my own way. I don't want any freebies. I'm going. Just tell me it's a free trip.
Yeah, I just got a
send
call.
me
I got a
send me the email, and I'm away.
I got a call from our local enterprise office about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, to say that we've been something we didn't even apply for, but we've been approved for an export marketing grant, which basically covers half of our costs of going to any international beer festival. So I was like, "What? We spent thousands of that every year." Well, we did. Now you're gonna pay me to go? I'm like, yeah, up to 2.5 grand a year. Like, fucking happy
That's
days. Thank you,
fucking awesome.
Mickler Beer Festival, all gone in one day. Happy days.
Can we claim it back from years gone past?
Oh, I'm telling you. But oh man, I miss beer festivals. I miss events. I just miss. I was talking about karaoke tap takeover, which is fucking happening. Uh, got me thinking. Like, I miss events. Like, we like literally every second Friday or Saturday, I'd be doing something. The whole of 2019, I was either away, I was in Switzerland, Holland, Spain, Italy, or here doing, tap takeovers or tastings and off license. And only takes for a shitty global pandemic to realize how much you actually miss out being out and meeting craft beer drinkers. They're the guys who, without them taking the fiver out of their pocket and buying the can, craft beer wouldn't exist. So, happy fucking days. So hopefully this year, second half of this year, we can get back to it and we can back on the horse, drink beer
Definitely.
with people who love drinking beer.
Definitely. Kev, last words for the people of, I presume, mainly Cork, maybe a couple of dubs around the country, and a couple of random Roscommoners and Leitrim people watching it.
Shortest coastline.
Yeah. Go on. Last words to the people of Cork.
For the people of Cork is, did Leinster beat you guys a couple of weeks ago or last week? I don't know when it was.
Fuck you,
But, no, look, thanks very much for coming in tonight, supporting the brewery, supporting your local breweries like Rising Suns, all the guys in Cork, because
Your local bars. Yeah.
everybody but they're buying the beers through you, and they're buying the beers through Michael, and they're buying the beers through everybody. Because if you buy local through local, that makes all the money stays within us. You're not sending it off. So thanks for the support, because without the support of local people supporting local businesses, we'd all be up shit's creek. And we're not, because we're here on Zoom having the beers and being pretty drunk. So living the dream.
All right.
So thanks to everybody for this. Thanks to you guys for having me on. And
Kev, you're a star.
I fucking am. I am. And no one believes it.
Come here,
No
Kev,
one believes it.
Kev. You're better than Stephen Clinch. I mean, your haircut's nicer. You're fucking way happier.
I'm slimmer. And yeah. And best of luck with them girls from Whiplash when you have them on in a couple of weeks. You tell them I call them girls.
We have this. We will do. I tell you what. We'll use it in a promo video. How about that?
All right.
Yeah. Say. By the way, we're having Whiplash on this week, and Kev says they're girls.
Oh, brilliant, man! Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, look, lads, thanks for having me on. This has been a great crack.
Kev, thanks, man. We'll talk soon. All right. Cheers, man.
We will definitely talk soon. Tap takeover karaoke.
A Cork Ale Trail. A Cork Ale Trail.
No. Tap takeover karaoke.
Yeah. A Cork Ale Trail tap takeover. We'll start off in the Bradleys with a couple of beers. Head up to the France well. Mike and Mike Darcy and the Friaries, Mad Auntie's music. We'll have a bit of a DJ session there. We'll head down to the beer house. We'll have a couple of beers, and we'll end up on a karaoke night in the Yabbits.
Everybody's there.
Turn
around every now and then. I get a little bit cold.
No, Jesus Christ.
Just what I just want to say is notice how Dave deflected the karaoke to Abbott's. Like poor Anton's going.
Anton's like, what the? I'm sick here. What are we going to do karaoke for all these dickheads?
Not alone has he got tennis elbow, he's got fucking tennis head at the moment. Jesus
oh, man.
All right. Anyway, Kev, so man, sludge.
Anyway, lads, I've needed a wee for about half an hour, so I'm going to get off.
All right, go on, jump.
Thanks very much, dude. Appreciate it.
Boom. Thanks very much for having me.
All the best.
Right. See you later, guys.
Right. Time to rock on with Mono and Co. version 3.
Yeah, let's try and find that video.
So what?
Yeah.
While you sort out that video, Dave, I'm just going to tell people about what's coming up. So that's 30th of April is going to be our next episode. We're going to have Whiplash on. So please stay tuned to the various channels. We're going to let you know about where you can pick up the beer, what beers we're going to be doing. We know it's a very popular brewery, so hopefully, yeah, it's going to be a special one. And then following that, we've got White Hag lined up, and there's more breweries heading on down the line. So if you guys do want to see anything, or you have any people who you would like to have on the show or anything like that, please give us a text, myself or Dave, and we'll do our best to get that sorted out.
Sorry about the collapse there on the screen. That was literally me dropping my laptop off of the back of the desk. I don't know how it happened. Did it soon? Anyway, yeah, let's try and share the screen here and play a bit of Conor Mo. Let's hope it goes well. Bear with us. Second.
And yeah, I mean, in the meantime, guys, if there is a brewery that you guys are personal favorites of that we haven't covered, that you would like to have on, please just give us a shot and we'll try to hook that up.
How's that looking there?
Small screen, so just get the big screen tab and then we're sorted.
Yeah. That's a big screen. No, I'm just coming because I'm coming out of there. Yeah, it's a big screen. All right, lads. Eva, launch you. Happy Fridays.
No sound, David.
All right, let's try it again. That was probably my fault. Let's share it again. What am I doing? Yeah, move. Share. Yeah, 30 seconds, guys. I'll get this sorted.
Yeah, also, I may as well just talk about it while we have some time. There's going to be that home brewing competition that we're going to have. So if anyone wants to start brewing, because obviously it takes some time, yeah, you got two options. Either brew IPA or a stout, and we will get that readily available. And we'll try have a blind tasting coming up at some point as well. So, lads, if you want to enter, you know anyone who's into home brewing, get an entry in, and that'll be awesome.
I'm not too sure if this is going to play audio-wise because I didn't see an audio option to hit audio. But look, let's try it on.
Yeah, negative diff. No sound.
All right, let's just say we tried and we failed. Anyway, lads, thanks for listening. We'll see you on House 7, which is going to be Whiplash in 2 weeks' time. Good night from myself, David, and good night from Sean. Yeah.
Cheers, lads. Thank you very much. Enjoy the weekend.
See you in 2 weeks' time. Glass is wet.
Stay crafty.